Yeah, I just had the privilege of watching one of Chris Perillo's Geek Outs, which is Windows 8 coming out. Is going to be coming out this year. I'm very excited about it personally, and I know a lot of reviews have said that they love Windows 8, the Metro style. It is beautiful, it is exciting, it's sexy, it's something new, something fresh. And one thing that Microsoft is, it seems like what they're trying to do is move ahead in the future, because we've seen a lot of videos and movies like Avatar, like the Tom Cruise movie in the future with the three women or two women that could tell the future. What's the name of that movie? Where they have these really fancy displays and they can just move stuff around. And it seems like Metro is the first step. It's a step towards that direction where we can just move things around with our fingers. And I imagine that one day it's not going to even be touch computing. It's just going to be gesture computing. So I can just move stuff around and just move stuff back and move stuff up and down and just basically take total control of my environment. I can just sit here and against this wall and just shoot, 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 and just pull back and pull forward. Okay, just pull back a little bit and then just zoom in into whatever I want to do. I can pinpoint stuff just by using my gestures, just by doing this. And so I think that Microsoft is moving in that direction that no other platform has ever touched before. Yes, the iPhone, let me tell you something about the iPhone. I think it's a solid piece of hardware, so it's the iPad. And I think the iPhone, Apple, brought mobile computing to the general public. Yes, there are a lot of people who are using Blackberries, Palms. Before it was a phone, Palm was it was an organizer of some sort. You had your calendar, your tasks, you can have take notes on it. It was like a personal organizer. And then it became a phone. It didn't really hit the market as great as the BlackBerry did, but I think BlackBerry pretty much set everything in motion for business computing, for business mobility. And then came along the iPhone for consumer mobility. And you had all your, not all your games, but you have, your games, your entertainment, your emails, your social media is on the go. And I think a lot of people like that because they're not stuck on their computer. Because when I got on the internet back in 1995, pretty much the only time I can use the internet was at home. And I had a desktop computer. Back then, laptops were expensive. Now you can get a laptop for like $300. It's a slow laptop that will do you just fine. And so you're able to get a laptop that costs like $700, $800, $1,500, and the more expensive ones. But laptops were expensive back when I was first got started on the internet. And so the iPhone, for a good price, let me tell you, $600 is a decent price for a small-ass computer. And you had this small device, like this phone, that I'm holding in my hand. It's small and it's compact, and it's sweet. And so what made this such a great thing is that Apple brought that to the general public in a very inexpensive way. And it was a fun phone. And so I have to give a lot of applause to Apple for getting these other companies like Google, which is a new company, it's not an old company like Microsoft and Apple is, and companies like Microsoft to start thinking forward. Because Microsoft has made a lot of videos. If you just do a search on the internet, just do a search, look for Microsoft's vision of the future. And you'll see some fascinating videos of what can be. Now, Google Glasses is going to give you that augmented reality that we want to have. So what we're looking at with Metro is a start towards that future because of the way it's designed. And let me tell you something, folks. Desktop is dead. It's going to go away. Not with Windows 8, maybe not with Windows 9, but Windows 10, Metro is going to be the next desktop experience. Desktop is going to go away. So it shouldn't be called Windows anymore. It should be Microsoft Metro 10, or something like that. With the mobile phones and the Xbox and what should say, living room entertainment center, then you have your laptop or your tablet or your desktop computer running Metro. That's the way it's going to be. That's the way everything should be designed from now on. Your desktop applications, just get used to it. Get used to moving away from your desktop applications and moving into Metro. If the company that designed the software doesn't make Metro applications yet, they're going to have to start. Because I do believe that at some point, Microsoft is going to get rid of it. They're going to get rid of desktop altogether. And it's going to be completely Metro, because in Metro, you're able to have that desktop experience. You're going to be able to have that futuristic experience like no other device. And you'll be able to communicate with other devices so smoothly that it's going to be beautiful. So I really see how Microsoft is going to really take that. The start menu, all the stuff that you guys complain about, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Get used to it. Now, okay, one thing I do agree. If you have a Windows 7 computer, don't upgrade to Windows 8, because Windows 8 on a non-touchscreen computer may be a little bit troublesome. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to go ahead and do it, because I always want the latest and greatest. But for some people who don't have touch-compatible devices, Windows 8 may not be the right choice for them for upgrades. But when you buy a computer in the future, like today, if you buy a computer, or any time after today, buy a touch-compatible device. They're expensive now, but imagine that Apple computer was like $2,000 or $3,000 back in the 80s. Now, they're like under $1,000. So eventually, touch computers are going to come down to the price of where laptops and regular computers are now. When Microsoft Surface come out, hopefully they'll be competitive with iPad prices. I know they're not going to be able to beat the Android price. I really cannot see Microsoft Surface selling for $200. I just can't see it. But eventually, we're going to see where some of these other companies that are trying to compete with Microsoft, hardware-wise, they're going to come up with devices that are $200, $300, and then Microsoft is going to have to say, oh, well, $200, $300. So this is what's going to happen. When other developers are starting to sell their devices at a very cheap rate, Microsoft will have to not make money. They're not going to make any money on the hardware. But what they're thinking is they should make money on the software. And they're going to make a little bit of money for all software sold because it's in the software hub, and where you can download software in the marketplace. So that's where they're going to make their money. They're going to make money off of other people's software. So that's what I'm thinking. If I was a company like Microsoft, I would say sell our stuff as cheap as possible, as cheap as fracking possible. Okay? To a point where we don't lose money, but let's try to get it out there. And then let's make money off the software. And I will start developing other software, more games, more software that people can use. If I was Microsoft, that is what I would do. Okay? But people, get used to it. Desktop is going to go away. Not in this iteration of Windows, but in the future. Windows 9 or Windows 10. At some point, Microsoft is going to just let it go. And it's going to be completely Metro from now on. Get used to it. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Okay? Maybe at some point Microsoft may say, okay, we're going to keep desktop forever, but I really don't think it's going to be that way. I just have a good feeling that Microsoft is going to get rid of desktop, and people are just going to have to get used to the Metro experience. To me, I love it. I had a Windows Phone for a good long time. I loved the Metro experience, a lot better than Windows Mobile. And how I like my computer that I have now, which has Windows 7 on it. It works great. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. I just think that Windows 8 is going to bring that future that we see in these movies that we love so much, like Avatar, and they're going to bring it to the forefront. Metro is it. It's not exactly that, I mean, that's going to be like 10, 20 years down the line, but you know what? That future is not far away. That avatar computing, that and those other beautiful displays that we see in movies that are, of course, CG'd into the movie, is going to happen in real life. Already, a Japanese developer is figuring out how to do holograms. They're already producing images in midair. Like they're able to make a bird fly. It looks like a laser, but it's in midair. It's not against the wall. It's in midair. You can reach out and touch it. You can feel the pulse of that bird, which is going to give you that exact same hologram experience when it gets fully developed and more developed. When, like you do in Star Trek, things are happening. Star Trek. I mean, Chris, I'm sorry, you like Star Wars. I love Star Wars too. I like both Star Trek and Star Wars. I am a big Star Trek fan. I love Star Wars, okay? I can watch Star Wars over and over again. I can watch Star Trek over and over again. Star Trek started many trends, like cell phones. It started the possibilities of different transports, space exploration. A lot of the terms that are used in Star Trek are used in a lot of different technologies today. So, like the communicator. Now, we don't call it communicator, we call it cell phones or mobile phones or smartphones, but a lot of those words are being used as a household item. And even let me tell you something, Gene Roddenberry, you should have put a patent on that because you would have made a ton of money. But I'm talking a lot longer than I thought I was going to talk. But like this video, make a comment below if you have any different opinions. I'm a big gadget fan. Okay, just to let you know, I like gadgets. I don't care who it's made by. If I had all the money in the world, I would get an Android tablet. I would get the Nexus 7. I would get iPad. I would get an iTouch. I don't want the iPhone, but I want iTouch, or the iPod Touch, excuse me. If I had all the money in the world, I would get Surface RT and a Surface Windows Pro. But I'm going to wait for Windows 7 Pro version of Microsoft Surface, and I'm going to get a Windows Phone 8. At the same time, I'm going to eventually get the Nexus 7 because I would like to have an Android device that's fast, fluid, and beautiful. And my wife wants an iPad. She likes iPads. She's a pretty big Apple fan, Apple mobile fan. She doesn't have a Macintosh computer, and she wouldn't want a Macintosh computer, but she's really into like iPhones and iPads. So I want to get her an iPad with the latest iPhone that's coming out this year. I want to get that for her birthday. Her birthday's in November 4th. So that'll be her birthday present. She'll have the latest iPad with Retina display and all that beautiful jazz. And she's going to have the latest iPhone, and that'll be her birthday present. And then I'm going to get Surface Windows 7 Pro, or Windows 8 Pro, Windows 8 Pro. I want to get the Windows Phone 8. Whatever Nokia builds, I'm going to get the Nokia version of Windows 8, Windows Phone 8. And I was going to get the Nexus 7 so I can play around with it and explore the Android world. But outside of that, peace out. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, TwizJiz. I do daily vlogs just like Chris. I don't do it every single day, but I do it probably every other day when something exciting happens. And my name is Antonio Edward. Peace.